Okay, why don't we get started? Welcome, everybody. Let's dive in. As I said before, I am in my glamorous, luxurious hotel room. I am totally being facetious, by the way, at Funnel Hacking Live, which is the Orlando World Marriott. One of the things I love about Funnel Hacking Live is often it's in Orlando, so it's just a 2-hour drive for me. I don't have to get on an airplane, which I abhor. It is terrible flying these days. I am in the midst of traveling quite a bit, so some of these BSPU calls will be a little hit and miss. Last week I was in Kelowna, Canada, which is outside Vancouver. I have a small inner circle kind of mastermind group that me and a buddy put together a few years ago, and that group has not met for a couple of years because of the pandemic. One of us is in Australia, a couple are in Canada, and then the rest of us are a little spread out over the United States. So last week I flew to Vegas and I spent a day with my good friend Matt Theriault. He's a client, but he's a dear friend and a really, really smart marketer. He has one of the largest real estate podcasts in the country. Spent a day with him, and then he and I flew up to Kelowna to spend time with Todd Herman. Some of you know who Todd is. He's part of our little tiny inner circle. It was just 6 of us. We're expanding it to 7 or 8 of us, and very all really close friends and really smart business guys. So I was there for, I don't know, 4 or 5 days, and then flew back into town. I was in town last week, and now I'm at ClickFunnels. Next week, I have my challenge. Some of you may be seeing ads and emails about that. You guys know I try to do 3 or 4 challenges a year. This is only my 2nd challenge that I've done in 2022. So we're really investing a lot of time, energy, and resources into that. Spending $2,000 a day just on traffic for the challenge, besides the money that I spend on advertising every day, advertising, my book and various other funnels that we have. And then the week after that, I am back in Orlando at this exact same hotel for my Top 1 Mastermind with Todd Brown. I'm a glutton for punishment, I'm telling you. For the guy that hates to travel, wow, I have a lot of travel coming up. So forgive if the BSPU calls are a little bit hit and miss just over the next couple of weeks. That's kind of what's going on with me. So what is Funnel Hacking Live? So Funnel Hacking Live is Russell Brunson's kind of premier event. And I believe there are 5,000 people here. I've been told there are 5,000 people here for this event. The ballrooms are just overflowing, filled to the max. The event itself cost, I think, around $1,000, and there are various levels of tickets. I was at the very first ClickFunnels event, or Funnel Hacking Live event, which was 6 or 7 years ago. I think this is the 7th one. That was just a few hundred of us in Las Vegas. I think it was Las Vegas. Russell, who is not an exotic car guy, won a Ferrari in an affiliate contest and then turned right around and gave away that Ferrari to the top affiliate for his book launch. Unfortunately, I was not the top affiliate, but I was one of the top people that launched his book. We sold hundreds and hundreds of copies. We helped launch the book, did some media and PR for Russell, that kind of thing. And so as many of you know, I've been in Russell's community for a long time. I really like the way he does business. He's obviously a very smart marketer. ClickFunnels is valued. I mean, he was offered $1 billion for it and turned it down. Don't ask me why. I mean, seems crazy to me. Wow. I don't know what to say about that. It's funny. Russell and I were talking last week, and he said this has been the hardest year of his life. And I'm like, dude, you should have taken $1 billion. Would have been the best year of your life. Anyway, that's just my opinion on it. But I'm a little older than him, so maybe that's just my age talking. He's young and youthful and full of energy, evidently. Anyway, he does this every year. He uses it to for a number of reasons, as he has described to us in his Inner Circle Mastermind group. And it's to build community. He really over delivers. The speakers are amazing, depending on what you come here for. The speakers like Tony Robbins, Marcus Lemonis from The Prophet, another billionaire. Geez, I mean, it just goes, they're page after page. I don't know if I have the program. It's just page after page. It's just ridiculous, crazy. And he goes hard. I mean, it starts in the morning and it goes all through the evening, which I have very little interest in doing. But I'm going to tell you my perspective. So I'm giving you a little bit of feedback on what the event is. 5,000 people. He over delivers, serves. He makes a pitch or a couple of different pitches. The people that are speaking are not allowed to pitch. They're not pitching anything. But Russell pitches, I don't know what he's going to pitch, maybe his certification program, which is relatively new. He's restarted that and it's going fantastic. He will certainly pitch ClickFunnels 2.0, which is something that is launching in a couple of weeks. I'll be an affiliate for that as well. And, you know, he does it to build community. It's like a car show outside. I mean, McLaren after Ferrari, after Rolls, after, you know, Lamborghini. So all the people that live in Florida drive over in their nice cars and show off. And, you know, because many of them are pitching within this community. And quite frankly, many of my clients have come from this community and the relationships that I have within this community. So that's a little bit of background of what Funnel Hacking Live is. It is an event that Russell will probably spend. He always gives us the numbers in the Inner Circle, breaks it all down. But on average, he probably spends now $3 to $4 million to put on this event. And he generally will make in the range of $10 million through what he is selling to put on the event. So it's very profitable. It's very high stress as far as filling the event and whatnot. If you've ever tried to do that, you probably know, very, very high stress. It's very difficult to sell an event ticket because you're not just selling the event ticket. You're selling the time that people have to travel. You're selling the fact that they have to travel. You're selling the expense to pay for hotel and airline flights and rental cars and all that stuff. So somebody comes here, and if it's a couple or, you know, like it's me and Bob in this case, you know, they're going to spend, besides the couple $1,000 for tickets, they're going to spend a couple $1,000 in hotel, maybe $1,000 or $2,000 in flights, etc. So it's very difficult to sell event tickets. Don't just hear the numbers of he's spending 3 million and making 10 million and think, wow, that's great. How easy. It is not. It is very difficult. It is a significant process and event that takes a lot of time, energy, and obviously money and resources to do. So when I come to an event like this, which I've been going to events like this for a long, long time, like many of you have, what do? Well, I don't sit, generally speaking, in the event. I'm going to give you my unpopular take. It's probably unpopular. And it shouldn't be your take necessarily on it, but I'm going to give you my take on it. And some of you, it will be a fit for, and others, it will not be a fit for, but I'm going to give you my take and how I look at events like this and what I try to get out of it. And then I'm going to give you some things that I've already gotten out of the event and answer any questions that you have. I would imagine in your businesses, you go to events or you have opportunities to go to events. If you've been doing that for a long time, it's very easy to get evented out. But if you do it the right way, it's worth far more than the investment, and you can conserve your energy, which is something that I'm very interested in doing. So for me, a lot of these big events and the speakers that they put on stages, they're nothing more than shiny objects oftentimes for me. So there are speakers and breakout rooms, and it's one right after the other. And some are of interest to me. Many of them I know because they're people within the Inner Circle that speak. I have spoken for funnel hacking and done, what are they called? Workshops and various other things within the community, which is really cool and really great for me and for my business. But they're shiny objects for someone like myself coming. Someone does a big talk on YouTube, like Daryl Eves is here. Daryl Eves is probably the preeminent YouTube guy in the world right now. And he did a big talk. And of course, you know, he's going to be meeting people and bringing people into his mastermind and whatnot. And just sitting around and talking to people about it, I felt myself drawn and attracted to it. But I don't have time for another shiny object right now. Don't have time for another thing that I can do. And so I have to be very, very narrow and very, very focused in what I'm doing here and what I'm trying to get out of it. So day one was the day with Dan. And for those of you that know, I've been following Dan Kennedy for a long, long time. He is in many ways the godfather of at least our generation of direct response marketing. And a year and a half or 2 years ago, we thought we had lost Dan. He had some serious complications due to diabetes, and he's in his mid to late 60s, I think, at this point. But he was very close to death. Maybe it was even longer ago than that. I think it might have been pre-COVID. So it's been a while now. And Russell came in and bought his business some time ago. It was sold to a venture capital company, and Dan made a bundle. Dan just was the face of it and a content creator within it. And then that was sold from the venture capital company because they kind of ran it into the ground like many big venture companies will do. And then Russell bought it from the person that bought it from the venture company because it was really struggling. And he has, with his magic, exploded the company. And it's been a great opportunity because, you know, Dan's content has always been very, very deep, very thoughtful, very rich, and is applicable to all different types of mediums, not just internet, but direct mail, television, radio, podcast, etc. And so with Dan having a full day, I wanted to be a part of it. I wanted to hear Dan. So I spent a day with Dan, the day with Dan, which was really fantastic. I got a bunch of notes that I took on that. I'll give you some of my takeaways from that. So number one, a great book that Dan recommended that I've never read by Pastor Rick Warren called Purpose Driven Marketing. I've read The Purpose Driven Life by Rick Warren, fantastic book, obviously a kind of Christian focused book. Purpose Driven Marketing, Dan highly recommended, even though I think it is kind of church based. It's like for people that want to grow their churches, but he says it's one of the best books that he's ever read on marketing. And so there's a book recommendation from Dan Kennedy, if that's something that you're interested in. I took some notes for myself, and I'm going to go ahead and go over them with you because maybe it's something you can get out. But he talked about using a contrary approach in your industry, which is something Dan has always done, to do the thing that you need to do in your marketing, which is separate people. That's really what you're doing, is you use your marketing to sift. You're sifting the people out that are not attracted to you. Obviously, you want to be authentic because you want to be happy with the people that you're serving. But if you're authentic and you're also maybe naturally contrarian or find a contrary perspective within your marketplace, then what tends to happen is you tend to attract people to you that are very interested in your perspective. He talked a lot about that as it pertained to the pandemic, as it pertained to our last couple of years, where, you know, there have been people, I'm just telling you what Dan shared, your politics and your idea of the pandemic is your idea of the pandemic. I'm just talking about contrarianism for a moment. Okay, let me give you that disclaimer right ahead. So he just talked about how there's been an explosion with certain politicians and certain thought leaders because they've taken a contrarian approach. And the people that looked at the pandemic and thought masks, a shot, that was kind of, pushed through much more quickly and approved and et cetera, without proper research. There have been people that look at all that and go, what they're saying on the news and what I'm seeing like in the world with the shutdowns and all these things just doesn't sit right with me. And so as people spoke up about it, it attracted a swarm of people that were already thinking these things. They were already thinking that what a lot of the he calls them the elders. The elders, think of the elders as like the gatekeepers in your industry, right? The people that are at the top of your industry. Like if you're in MLM, and I know most of you, or maybe none of you are, but most of you certainly are not. The elders, the gatekeepers, are the ones that are telling the new MLMers that the way they have to grow their MLM company is they have to, meet people, and they have to, get 3, and then they get 3, and then they get 3. And so there's this, one-on-one approach with going to your friends, your family, et cetera. And yet, for most people, I think the failure rate in MLM is like 97%. For most people, that just doesn't work. It fails. And then you see that the people at the top of the pyramid aren't doing that at all. Maybe they did at one time, but they're not now. They're doing something different. And so the people that are more at the bottom of the pyramid look at that and go, well, that just something doesn't sit right with me. So a contrarian approach there would be somebody coming out and saying, look, if you're trying to do it this way, you have a 97% chance of failure. Instead, you should do it this way. And the people that have already been thinking that are going to be attracted to you, right? So that's going against the elders, right? The elders in your industry. The elders in my industry, so to speak, are the traditional publishing companies, right? The traditional publishing companies want you to pay your dues. They want you to find an agent. They want you to write a 50-page proposal. They want you to go through their steps. They want you to take 2 to 3 years to get your book out into the marketplace. And that's not my client, right? My client is somebody that looks at all of that, looks at the gates that the elders put up, the elders in traditional publishing, and say, no, there's a better way to do it. There's a way that we can succeed. And so you need to be thinking about this for your business. Who are the elders? What is the elder approach that you say to yourself, the elders want me to go through the old ladder, right? The old way of ascending, whether it's a multi-level marketing company, whether in my case, it's like a publishing company. What is it for you and in your business? What do the elders say that you have to do that you look at and you say, you know what, there is a way to leapfrog, right? To get to a level of success much faster than what the elders are saying, and if you can create a contrary approach, you will find the right people that get attracted to you. The old ladder, the elder ladder, the way you go up the ladder that the elders are saying, the gatekeepers are saying, does not reflect how the market assesses value. The market assesses value not based on following this structured elder way, but getting to whatever the goal is as quickly as possible for your potential clients. So find a contrary approach where you can set yourself up against the elders. And by doing that, you'll attract people to you that see that there's a better way with you. So I thought there was just some great nuance there. It's very Dan Kennedy-ish, but I haven't heard things like that being spoken about for a while. So I made a lot of notes on that. Hopefully I have conveyed it well to you and you understand. I've tried to give you a couple of different examples there that might be helpful. A couple other things that he said that I thought were interesting. He said, being perfect is a huge mistake to your potential clients. You sacrifice connection with your audience by presenting yourself as perfect. He used examples like Donald Trump eating McDonald's, and it's not just Donald Trump. You think of Buffett, right? Having a Coke and McDonald's, and there's this sense of imperfection. You'd probably never see, President Obama eating McDonald's. There's this imperfection that's presented that is attractive to their audience. And in the same way, if you present yourself as being perfect to your audience, like if they don't see your mistakes, your failures, your even things that you go through, if you went through bankruptcy or health issues or business failures or challenges in your upbringing, by expressing those things to your market, they see you as human, and it creates a connection point with your marketplace, right? So you have to decide. I mean, I tend to be a private person. I don't do a lot on social media outside of my marketing and advertising, which, you know, probably hurts bestseller publishing, to be quite honest with you. But I see that, right? I see that the more vulnerable you are in telling the truth about your mistakes, your failures, your difficulties, the more connection points you potentially have with your ideal client. If you present yourself as perfect, you are going to be leaving a lot of opportunity on the table for people that just can't connect with you, because they're like, well, of course it works for her, of course it works for him, because, you know, they have a silver spoon, or they've done everything right. When the truth is, you haven't, and I haven't, right? So find a way to show your vulnerabilities and create connection points with your ideal client, right? Step into that conversation that people are already having. Another cool idea. I actually wouldn't mind some feedback from you guys on this. Dan talked a lot about how to connect with your current clients, and he told some stories about how people both help their current clients and create real opportunities for their businesses within those current client benefits. Let me explain what I mean. So imagine, this is what I came up with in 5 minutes of thinking about it for bestseller publishing. You try to figure out what this might look like for yourself. So obviously, one really exciting time for every client at BSP is when their book is launched, when your book is launched and it becomes a bestseller. That's very exciting. It's something that you're proud of. You're receiving an accolade for something that you put a lot of time and energy and money into. It's something that, you know, you may be a private person and you don't want to brag about, but you wouldn't mind, right? Other people knowing about this success that you've accomplished, your friends, your family, your coworkers, you know, your clients, your et cetera. And I've shared with you a lot of different times the things that you need to do to create referral opportunities as soon as your book is done, right? Sending them to your current clients, sending them to prospects, all that stuff. I'm not going to go back into it. But one thing that I thought for BSP that might be a great like bonus kind of benefit for my BSP clients, and potential tremendous benefit for bestseller publishing. Again, using this idea of benefiting your clients while also creating a win for you. I thought, okay, well, what if he was talking about using direct mail and generating leads within your customer base by serving your clients? And I thought, okay, based on the examples that he gave, he gave an example, an idea of a post, using a postcard. And I thought, okay, well, when a book launches and a client becomes a bestseller, right? You know, Tom, Nicole, I'm just looking who's right on my immediate screen. I know there's a bunch more of you on there. Then what one benefit, and I'd love your feedback on this because I may be totally off. You know, I took a whopping 5 or 10 minutes on this, thinking through it. But one benefit would be letting, you know, 6, 7 people that are close to you, friends, family, and potential clients, et cetera, letting them know from the publisher, from us, that we're excited that your book has become a bestseller by you giving me that person's name and address, and me sending them something that might be a way for them to redeem a copy of the book at a discount or something like that. But basically, it's me kind of bragging on you, which that's the benefit to you. The benefit to me is it connects me with 7 more of your potential you know, friends, family, clients, et cetera, that might be interested in my services, right? So free leads for bestseller publishing. and bestseller publishing bragging on you, which may lead to business for you. So again, one way to do that would be your book launches, it becomes a bestseller. You give me names and addresses of 7 people that you want me to brag to about you. And it could be 7 clients that you want to, or not, or potential clients that you want to kind of do an end around where you're not bragging on yourself, but the publisher is bragging on you, which then gets them thinking, you know what, I need to get back in touch with him, or I need to call her because, man, she just became a bestseller on this topic and I need help on this topic. See what I mean? And then the benefit to me is if they were ever thinking about doing a book, well, they would do a book with me. So think about what that might look like for you. Is there a way for you to brag on your clients or give something to your client that is beneficial to them, but at the same time, it connects you with more people in their world? All right. I hope I did that justice, but that's my idea for, or one of my ideas for bestseller publishing. And I thought that could be a big win for my clients, and that could be a win for us potentially. For every book that we launched, we're connected with 7 more people that we're benefiting you, and it benefits us potentially at the same time. So again, that was what I thought was a great Dan Kennedy idea. Plus, it creates more interest in your book by people that are, you know, that for whatever reason you're giving me their address to make that connection. So that was day 1. I was there for the entire part of day 1. Now I'll give you the unpopular take. I have been to very little of the rest of Funnel Hacking Live. Okay. I was there for all of Dan Kennedy. The reason I have been to very little, I mean, I've popped in, etc., but the reason I've been to very little is because, number one, I don't need motivation, and there are a number of motivational speakers, so I'm good with that. I mean, I'm happy. I would like to see Tony. I'd like to see, but I'm not here for the motivation. I'm not here for the rah-rah. Then there were several topics that I would like to learn about, but they're more shiny objects. So I just decided I'm going to push that aside. I'm not going to focus on that. So what have I been doing for the last 2 days? So yesterday, as a part of Inner Circle, we have a VIP area. We have an Inner Circle area that, you know, gives you kind of a direct access into the conference room, and, you know, has coffee and setup and all that. And that's where, you know, that's where the people that are doing the most business and are the most successful tend to be, right? They're the VIPs. They're the ones that are either my clients already or my ideal clients. So literally for the entire afternoon yesterday, I just sat there. I went there for a number of different reasons. This is for me. Why? Number one, I want to talk to the leaders and the people that are actually doing it. By the time somebody gets up on stage at a conference to talk about their magic, they've already been running their magic for 2 years, 3 years, right? Like if there's a really cool new advertising process, you know, a new way to use TikTok, a new way to use Facebook ads, a new funnel, by the time you hear about that on stage, it may not even be working anymore. That's just the truth, because somebody else has been using that secretly for years. So when I go to the conference, I want to be with the people that like are doing it right now. They're crushing it right now in their thing. And I want to have some direct conversations with them. What are you doing? What's working now? You know, tell me about your business. Obviously, how can I help you? How can I serve you? Here's what's working for us, et cetera, et cetera. So I sat in the same place like I played golf in the morning. So the Funnel Hacking Live started a little late. So I played golf in the morning with some buddies, but then all afternoon, all day, I just sat in the same place and I just talked to person after person. And literally it was like, I had a great conversation with Joe on SEO and all of that. We talked about my business, talked about, you know, books. And then somebody else came down that saw Joe and I, they sat at our table, then Joe left, and I talked to this guy for an hour, et cetera. And so I was just taking notes and learning from the people that are doing it right now. That's, again, this is probably a little bit of an unpopular take on big conferences, but this is what I have experienced over the years of going to big conferences. So yesterday in these conversations, a guy sits down. He looks familiar, but a lot of people that are advertising constantly look familiar, right? I've had a number of people that have come up to me at the conference, grabbed me, said, Rob Kosberg, Publish Pro Profit, right? Yes. Hey, I loved your book. I sent you a referral. I'm interested in doing a book. I read your book. A bunch of people have done that, which I'm flattered. And that's really cool. When you write a book and you advertise a lot, then people recognize you. They know who you are. But this guy sits down. I recognized him, but I wasn't 100% sure who he is. And we got to talking about his business, and I go, oh, I know who he is. He's the Airbnb guy. And I know because I bought his product like 3 years ago. He's Brian Page is his name. And he has a, how to basically do Airbnb without owning any real estate. And so we started talking, and he invited me to this VIP thing that they're doing with all the speakers. I was like, oh, super cool. Would love to come. And Joe, the other guy, said, hey, let me ask you a question, and let's see if you can guess. He said, is Brian doing $1 million a year, $1 million a month, or $1 million a week? And I was like, oh, wow. Okay. So I said, $1 million a week. He goes, yeah. And he goes, here's the interesting thing. And then Brian started talking. Brian said, yeah, last year my business did about $4 million, which is a very nice business. Nothing wrong with that, right? Information business. He said, but I made a couple of shifts, and we're collecting $1 million of cash a week in his business. And it's been going on the entire year. So they're doing like 1.2, 1.3 in sales and collecting about 1 million in cash. Obviously, I wanted to learn more. Tell me more, please, how you went from 4 million to upwards of 50 million in less than a year. This is the kind of conversation that you cannot have sitting in a big conference of 5,000 people and listening to the speaker. So it was a fantastic conversation. From that conversation, he gave me a couple of names, made a couple of connections, and I have already made some connections because some of what they're doing, they're using sales teams and they're outsourcing different things. Some of the things that they did are things that would absolutely fit bestseller publishing, but I did not know about. So sitting at that table, who knows what that might be worth to my business? I don't think we're going to go from 4 million to 50 million. Maybe that's a lack of faith on my part. Maybe I don't even want to work that hard, but could it add 7 figures to my bottom line? It could easily do that. Just one good conversation with somebody that's actually doing it right now. He's not on stage. He doesn't have a speaking slot. He may speak next year or the year after, but by then he's already been doing this for years. So this, again, may be an unpopular opinion to some people, but for me, that's what is most important. So what is today like? Well, today I popped my head in a couple of times at the conference. Motivation, cool person, something I really didn't want to follow, shiny objects. So I sat back down in the VIP area. I had a number of fantastic conversations with people. Bob, my operations manager, is here. So he and I did some business brainstorming, talked about some new things that we want to implement, how we want to help our clients, etc. And then I came up to the room to do some work, on what I was going to share with you, take my notes, make sure that, I'm not going to just blather on about nothing, but that I can hopefully share something valuable from the conference with you guys. And I had a couple of potential client calls, etc. Tonight is 2 things for me. The award ceremony for Funnel Hacking Live, where Russell gives out his, there are multiple awards you can win. If you do $1 million in a year in a funnel, it's the 2 Comma Club Award. If you do over $10 million with ClickFunnels, then it's the 2 Comma Club X Award. And then there's 25 million, 50 million, 100 million. So I didn't even think about this. I won the $10 million award from ClickFunnels last year, but it was after Funnel Hacking Live. So the award ceremony is happening, and I'll go to the award ceremony, go up on stage and get the $10 million award. Now, why is that cool? It's cool because I am going to use all of that in my various marketing and advertising. You know, most of what I've earned of that $10 million is from my various book funnels. And so some of you know, some of you don't know, I have a new book coming out at the end of this year called Book Funnel Secrets. I have a number of great interviews with Russell Brunson, with others that I've used to compile the content for this book. And that book is going to be, you know, lead to an offer ultimately of us helping people with their books, which is what we do, and their book funnels. And so it's going to be, you know, I'm going to shoot some quick video while I'm, you know, in the green room backstage. And as I'm walking onto the stage in front of 5,000 people, I'm going to shoot some really quick video of me getting the award, and then I'll show a picture of the award. Look, part of me feels uncomfortable with that, just really, to be honest. I'd rather be having a cigar outside and you know, talking to some friends. I don't want the attention, but I'm in the attention business, and so are you, right? If you're a coach, consultant, etc. And so you have to get used to it. You have to get comfortable with it. And so I'm excited about it. Probably not as excited as I was the very first time that I did it, but to me, it is an opportunity for me to have more presence in this gigantic community. As you know, I think there are only 20 of us that won that award, and there's hundreds that won the 2 Comma Club award. And it's going to create some great B-roll, you know, some great video that I can use in advertising and that sort of thing. After that, I enjoy having a cigar with friends and a scotch or a whiskey. That may not be your thing. Don't hate on me for it. And so I brought a bunch of cigars, and I said, hey, we're going to go outside. We have this cool little area, and I have cigars for everybody. And so after the award ceremony, we're going to connect with as many award winners as want to come and enjoy a cigar together and just chat, talk about our businesses, etc. I know that will lead to opportunity for me in bestseller publishing. And I know that that will lead to learning experiences, an opportunity for me to have a conversation with a cool guy or a cool gal that's doing something really unique in their business that I would like to learn from. So again, it's not directly in the conference. It's not me sitting, listening to Marcus Lemonis, who is amazing and a billionaire and incredible. But quite honestly, I can watch that on video afterwards if I wish to, and I probably will. I am here to speak to the doers, to speak to the leaders, to learn what's working right now. I want to know that today, not 2 years from now. And I want to connect with people. And the opportunity to do that is the award and the cigars, to be quite honest. You don't have to take up smoking cigars, Nicole, so don't worry about that. But whatever your thing is, right? Whatever your thing is to use to connect to people is important, because, you know, money comes from people. And the more you can learn about connecting with people, the more you can network, the more you can build relationships. And I am an extrovert. I love people. I love hearing their stories. I don't talk a lot. I ask questions. I listen. You probably would never believe that, knowing that I've been talking nonstop for 45 minutes. But, you know, when it comes to having a conversation, I'd much rather listen and learn than talk. So, that's a lot, I know. But that is, you know, if you were expecting to hear class by class what's going on, I'm sorry. You can buy like the recordings afterwards if you wish. But this is how I approach a big conference. For me, it's perfect. I have already gotten like the one Brian Page learning and time with him, and the connections that I've already made along those lines. I'm done. I could leave. I'm not going to, because I have stuff to do here tomorrow. Conference actually goes through Saturday. I'm not going to stay for Saturday. I'm going to go home. I miss my wife. I miss my dogs. I want to play golf with my friends, and I want to start figuring out how to implement some of this stuff. So I'm heading home early, but I'll be here obviously the rest of tonight and tomorrow as well. So that is it, my friends. That is what I have for you. Do you have any questions? There's been lots and lots of comments. Thank you for all your comments. Let me read some of them.